Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Three-Digit World Cup 2026. It is day 2 of the round of 16, and we have got a very interesting matchup here. South Korea versus France, the seed 6 versus seed 11. Somewhat closer in seeding compared to some of the other matches we've seen this week. So I've got some high hopes for this match. Joining me for this contest is the one, the only. It's Lightning. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, Damarsh. Thanks for asking. South Korea versus France, seed number 6 and seed number 11 in this lively round of 16 matchup. I'm really excited to cast this match. How are you doing, Damarsh?
I'm doing well. I think the qualifiers themselves were very, very interesting.
For sure.
With a lot of the surprise results. And these two, especially, South Korea kind of on a bit of a downward trajectory from what we've seen in previous years, but still up there, still fighting very much so. But France looking to kind of make a bit of an impact. They've had some great results throughout the qualifying stage. That No Mod 2 was incredibly impressive from them. And I'm looking to see what they do with a bit of an easier pool and a bit more consistency focused.
Yeah, for sure. The pool is a lot easier, a lot of relatively known maps as well in the tournament community. Something like No Mod 2 and No Mod 4, for example, have been seen quite a bit. But that being said, we are already transitioning apparently into the big ban stage. The first ban coming in from South Korea is going to be DT2, a sort of a DT light tech map now being banned by South Korea, surprisingly enough. But it does make sense. France is pretty good at that skill set. I'd imagine someone like Japwai would have a pretty good day on those type of maps. But coming in next is French team's ban. And what do you think is going to be the ban here, Damarsh?
Looking at sort of South Korea's roster, they had the strongest tech score in that No Mod 4 from the qualifiers. They are quite strong across the hard rock pool as well. So I'd probably look to isolate one of those picks. Maybe in particular something more precision focused. They kind of get outscaled on that a little bit. But if not, definitely the tech map. The tech map is probably their biggest score margin difference. So I'd be surprised to see anything outside of sort of hard rock or No Mod 4. Maybe something from free mod if they don't feel that they've got the roster depth. But yeah, I'd bank on No Mod 4.
Yep, I do agree with you on that notion. I think it's either No Mod 4 or HR2. I would imagine that this ban from DT2 threw France off guard a little because they would assume that it's not going to be the ban from South Korea. So now they have to question, like, they banned a tech map. Do we ban a tech map as well and leave the pool relatively techless, as one could say so, or what do we go for? I'd imagine that if it's not No Mod 4, then maybe HR2 is an option, a custom map by Shi with a CS7, as you have mentioned prior. South Korea looks a little better in comparison to France on that particular skill set, so I imagine something along the lines of No Mod 4 and HR2 is probably something that France are looking for right now. If not, then I'd imagine, yeah, we have an HR2 ban coming in from France.
Yeah, not really a surprise. Duck Groove is a great map. I really enjoy it, but against this sort of roster where you want consistency, that South Korean roster is just very good on hard rock. So it's best to leave them as few of those picks as possible. Yeah, so we've got South Korea picking first. Which to me sort of signifies more or less carrying on what we said. Picking into that No Mod 4, picking into that hard rock. Maybe even trying the sort of 3 Mod 3 if that's where they kind of want to place themselves. I don't think Kyoga Rambu's a very good pick across the 3 Mod pool, but I would like to see what kind of mods South Korea players favour, because I'm not super familiar on all of their roster at the moment.
I can see that, and yeah, I'd imagine that something along the lines of 3 Mod 2 would be a little bit of a dangerous pick. Yes, it's quite techy, but it also has a lot of mechanics into that map, 230 BPM to be precise. And Fremont Free, I'd imagine, is probably one of the easier maps in the pool, which I think France can be pretty good on. It has been there for quite a while. It has been pulled in quite a few tournaments. So really grid snappy, old mapping based pick, which I think France would be quite comfortable on. And instead we see an Hidden 2 being picked by South Korea, an AR8 BPM 160 flow aim focused map. Quite a peculiar pick, Damarsh.
It is, but then when I compare their scores on qualifiers, it does actually stand out quite a bit. Obviously, the map that we had in qualifiers was a little bit different. It was a much higher star rating compared to what we've got here. But France struggled on it. They didn't even get a million team score on this map.
That is fair. Yeah, that is fair, and I feel like also skill set wise, these two maps are also like very, very, very different in comparison to qualifiers, because qualifiers 2 was more of that awkward aim AR8. This one is going to be AR8 with CS 4.5 with LMT flow aim, so definitely a whole different beast when it comes to the skill set. But on paper, still, given the overall lower yard comfort, I'd imagine that South Korea on paper should be feeling a little better in comparison to France. But France, they can definitely play this, I feel like.
Yeah, they've definitely got some star players. You know, you'd be looking at like Musty to really kind of bring out a good score from this. Looks like they're going with Satsuki and Thunder on this one. They might also be able to play this to a degree. But I think looking at that roster from South Korea, Amamiya Kokoro, Allegrissimo, Shubbert's a bit of a newer name to me, but I imagine that they're much more of a specialist and this is their sort of specialty. So, yeah, I could see it. I could see this being a really good pick for them.
Definitely a new name here for South Korea. A lot to prove and a lot to show. I'm really excited to take a look how Sherbet will perform on their first official match now in this 3-digit World Cup. But that said, good luck Alphonse are now in the chat, and we're going to be slowly transitioning into this hit into Cygnus and Villia, mapped by none other than LMT. Flow aim stream scattered throughout this entire map, 160 BPM on top of that. And the first pick of South Korea, as we are now finally getting into this map.
Yeah, first opportunity to really kind of set the pace here in this round of 16. Of course, the map starts off very, very slow until we get into the real flow aim sections of this map. It just kind of builds the anxiety a little bit more. There we go. Immediately see an early break from Amamiya Kokoro. Not who you'd expect, but there is a slight adjustment to that speed up of no density to kick this off. Good start for France, though.
No density as soon as it goes up. Few players from South Korea find a miss, and also the accuracy is not really looking that good either on the side of Amamiya Kokoro and Allegrissimo, but still nothing too major as we are now in the first intermediate section of this map, and the flow aim element is now finally starting to shine as we go through these streams so far. The accuracy on France is looking really, really confident with Tatsuki, notably with 99.5% accuracy as we now on the first PI. The combos are still holding no misses so far aside from earlier misses, but Allegrissimo and Sherbet were very, very close to those early misses, but Musty will be the one breaking the silence as South Korea will now have the combo advantage.
Yeah, they're going to start to flip this a little bit more, but still two big combos for France here, with very nice accuracy to boot. Overall, still better accuracy from this French roster. So there is still a lot of danger in this pick from South Korea, but the combo really taking it away. And Satsuki with that break, not going to be helping things. It's just going to accelerate that score difference in favor of South Korea, who are still looking for a major break at this point.
On the slow section as well, right in the middle of the map, the score cap is going to hurt France tremendously on this map, and with Mr. Thunder, no FCs on the side of France, and now Amamiya Kokoro and Sherbet to trade is just Allegrissimo. Once more, put Allegrissimo back in as he continues to hold on to the combo. 160,000 score difference going ever so higher towards the side of South Korea. A lot of misses coming in from Musty as well on those flow aim sections, but Allegrissimo is doing wonders so far. A shaky start with inaccuracy, but who cares about the accuracy? Look at the combo going as the score difference is already 250,000. One last PI to matter as we are now transitioning into that as well.
Yeah, beautiful flow aim control from Allegrissimo here. Satsuki did have a recovery combo, but the double break is just going to send it home. Allegrissimo not able to hold on to that full combo either, but again has done more than enough damage. But it was a much closer score from both teams really than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting South Korea to run away with this one, but they showed some early signs of not fatigue, but difficulty getting going. But they are off on the board. First solid pick from them on that hidden 2. Very nice 98 accuracy there from Amamiya Kokoro as well.
Yep, a really good showing here from Amamiya Kokoro and Allegrissimo as well. With that combo that saves his team here, would have been a really shaky start if France would have gotten the breakpoint already from South Korea. But that being said, that was a really good performance here from the side of the French roster. Thunder holding on to the combo for quite a long time, and Satsuki as well. If not for that unfortunate miss on the slow section in the middle of the map, then this could have been a whole different story. But it is all hypotheticals, and with that is going to be France's turn to pick, and the options are still there. With that hidden 2 going a little shaky for South Korea, a few opportunities are starting to open up, but when you're France, what do you want to go for, Damarsh?
I think you want to mostly focus. I know there was a lot of flow aim within that hidden 2, but I still think a lot of what makes this team so good is very much their tapping mechanics. You know, you saw the DT2 ban come out from South Korea. You've got that Fremont 2 that you can kind of play with. This is also a very good pick for them. This is mechanics, but this is much more aim tapping consistency, which I think is a decent pick for them. I don't know if it's going to be as strong comparatively to the sort of Nomad 2 I'd expect, or the Fremont 2. But this Nomad 1 should still do wonders for them. They do have a bit more of a score difference. The map itself is quite volatile as well. This Nomad 1, it's a lot of wide angle jumps, and those jumps are pretty much non-stop consistently throughout the map. And then as you get towards the sort of end of the map, you've got this sort of bridge section which leads into the final Ki time. Then nearly full screen jumps at the end, which is really draining on the aim stamina, and that's going to cause a problem for this South Korean side, because it just doesn't let up.
I agree 100% here. The map by itself is also a classic. And Nomad 1, made by APOC, good old days of 2022, was updated back in 2025 to adjust the offset and I think one pattern in the map. But still, a certified hood classic with this map. Kini Naru Anoko, 192 BPM. As you mentioned, Damarsh, the jumps, they're just going there non-stop. They're not stopping. The stamina requirement as well is also there. They just do not stop. They keep on going, and I feel like this is a pretty good pick for France. On paper, South Korea should still be looking relatively good, but given how shaky that start was on Hidden 2, then maybe something like Nomad 1 could be a really good way to catch South Korea off guard here in the early stages of this match.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a... Nomad 1's always been a volatile pick to kind of go into, because you've always got players who can sort of play this kind of map. It's very much your standard sort of O2 map in general. That was the kind of idea behind it. It's very simple in what it demands of you. It's purely aiming and very little tapping, which is most players' skill sets. So it's all about trying to be consistent at that. And that's what the early stage always really tests, is how consistent is your team compared to the one that you're facing right now. And certainly, as we saw in the start of that Hidden 2, that volatility can hurt you early round, but you've got to hold it all the way through. So let's see how they do on Minaru.
Yep, pretty classical set. Did get ranked earlier on as well, with apps set earlier back in December of 2025. More modern take on this song, but that being said, still the intro does not catch anyone off guard so far. My Keyboard, the only one to find hundreds from the side of South Korea in general, as Amamiya Kakura and Shibori are looking quite good on this map so far. The accuracy advantage is on the side of South Korea, but still, all FCs are on board. Still a lot of the map left. The map is going to be relatively long, 2 minutes and 58 seconds long, so that consistency test that you've been talking about is ever so present. But that being said, so far, so good for both of these teams.
And again, as you can see, these wide angle jumps really just don't let up throughout this map. But into the Ki time, you can see that they increase in spacing massively. And this is essentially what the whole map is based upon. It just builds and builds as you develop through. So it's who can really hold that for well over 3.5 minutes. So far, it's everyone.
Yep, so far everyone, the PI is not really catching anyone's combo here yet, but I would imagine that someone would also miss here. But no, surprisingly enough, all FCs are still on board. Half of the map still gone. The difference is barely visible. Shibori, though, will be the one to find a miss, though, the first one to break. And from the South Korean team as well, France are now going to be letting and running away with the score lead. One really unfortunate miss here from Shibori as the second count now starts off. For South Korea, you need to hope for the misses from the French side, but the French are still there, still holding the combos, still a brick wall that is unpenetrable for now, as these jumps just continue to go. Musty will be the one to break the silence on the French roster, and it's now 2 versus 2. Amamiya Kakura, My Keyboard versus Long Noir and Hifkill. My Keyboard finds a miss, though. It's just Amamiya Kakura against the 2 FCs on the side of France.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? 2 breaks to 1 on a map like this. There just isn't enough wiggle room. But there are the full cross-screen jumps, but it does take out 2 members of the French roster. Musty survives. But I just don't think there's enough time. There's not enough map left. Amamiya Kakura has to take advantage of this. I think Musty's combo might just do enough to hold it off.
Exactly that. Their score up until the very end was about 850k. Getting that 250k score deficit from just one player, considering that Musty was also holding, would have been impossible. But such a good pick here from France, and now we are equalized to Marsh 1-1. Really good scouting there. Could have very much been a double FC from the side of France. Both Long Noir and Hipkill holding that combo up until almost the very end. Musty also being quite close. A lot of one-miss chokes on this map. But this is what consistency is about. Despite how small the miss is, it will still matter a lot, and it did matter a lot in this case as well.
Yeah, again, that ending's so volatile. So even though you had players, I mean, you had 4 players with 1 misses on those runs there, but a lot of that was towards the ending of the map, the tail end, and it just happened at the wrong time for South Korea compared to France, and that's what Score V2 does. You know, a lot of that combo is about where you break in the map. Those early breaks can really do some damage, but at least you have time to recover it, where those bigger combos, once it's gone, that's it. There's just not enough time in the map to recover, and that's just what happened to South Korea. They just ran out of time. But they do have a chance to refocus their mindset. They managed to pick up that hidden 2 regardless, and they've still got at least another hidden pick in their back pocket. It is what they're going to go for in Shapeshifter. This is an interesting map.
Yep, it definitely is. AR9, a custom map by Michaelito. I'm not going to say the full name and not the name that I see in the bottom. But that being said, Shapeshifter is going to be your AR9 density awkward aim map. 6.86 SR, also quite long, probably one of the longer maps in the pool in general. 3 minutes and 31 seconds long with 3:16 drain time. So every single miss is, well, it will not really matter that much if it was that short, but still, given how this skill set goes in general, you would not want to miss on this at all. The BPM as well, also on the higher end, 232 BPM, it being double BPM, hence 116. But that being said, this is going to be a really interesting pick here, considering that, first of all, South Korea lost the aim pick from France on that No 1-1. But given the overall hidden comfort, I feel like South Korea should be doing good here.
Yeah, this is a really interesting map because it's probably got some of the most comparisons to the qualifier pool that we kind of got. You know, especially in terms of star rating, it's very, very similar. It's gonna be an interesting kind of comparison because when you look at especially their qualifier scores, not a lot in it. If anything, it favors France over South Korea. So I'm curious what it is in this map that makes South Korea feel more confident compared to the French roster. I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic, but very similar rosters here as well, with both teams kind of opting for that same lineup.
Yep, once again, I'm with me at gamicrayola, Grissom, and sure, but on the side of South Korea, Musty, Satsuki, and Thunder. For the side of France, still a 1-1, still very close, but this map will be really, really important for both of these teams. As you've mentioned, France do have a pretty good chance of taking this, considering, first of all, they want the AIM map, and if you look at the qualifier comparisons, then this is going to be pretty good, a pretty good map for France and a very risky one for South Korea as well. But still, this is more than fine. South Korea, they have played those maps for a very long time. They've played a billion of these maps. gamicrayola, Grissom, a very experienced tournament player, sure, but a new addition to the South Korean roster, specializing, I'd imagine, in this particular skill set and being a huge addition to their roster as well. But France, they also play this a lot, but so far the accuracy does seem to be favoring the French roster so far, only by a little margin. But Musty with the first miss to shift the equilibrium towards South Korea.
Yeah, it's a pretty unfortunate break from Musty as well, because you're going into this sort of slow section which everyone's hitting with no major issues. So that's a real loss of free combo that France just not going to be able to have access to. And it's going to allow South Korea to build a little bit more of a score gap, which might help in the later stages. They might need it, because Thunder, Satsuki looking so good accuracy-wise compared to the South Korean. Obviously, there's probably only a couple of hundreds in it, but sometimes that's enough.
Sometimes that is enough, and here comes the first Ki. Alagrissimo finds the first miss on the side of South Korea. Musty finds a miss as well. 2 versus 2. Amamiya, Conqueror, and Sherbet versus Satsuki and Thunder. Once more, the accuracy does favor South Korea, only by a little margin though, as Sherbet can hold on to really good accuracy of 99.67%. But still, it's very much close. It's still just about anyone's game. Still a half of the map left, Damarsh.
Yeah, and what you've got now is you've got the best performer from the Hidden 2 in Alagrissimo versus the worst performer on the Hidden 2 on the side of France, and Amamiya Kokoro finding another break puts them in a very dire strait. It's gonna flip pretty much any second now, as French roster, it's kind of their point to lose, and this is what I talked about earlier, in that it was a dangerous pick. I'm curious as to why they went into this, but my only thought is that they won the Hidden 2 and therefore thought they were going to be as confident on the Hidden 1, but Thunder does find a break, and there goes Satsuki. It's Sherbet now. All eyes shift to Sherbet to hold this combo for South Korea, and indeed, their second map point.
All eyes are on the rookie here, Sherbet, with an FC and the highest accuracy in the lobby so far, making a difference. Finding a miss though, still 60,000 difference. Alagrissimo and Musty with the highest combos in the lobby will all rest upon them. It's all on their shoulders. A slight recovery from the side of Satsuki will shift the score a little towards the right though, as we are looking at this map. Still only just about 5 to 10% of the map left. It will all rest on Alagrissimo and Musty. Whoever finds the miss first will be the one to lose here. But still, 40,000, the combos are there. Alagrissimo and Musty, no combos yet to be found. Satsuki finds a miss, but it looks like Allegrisimo will be the one missing though. Wait a minute, Musty holds the combo 30,000. Is there enough time? Finds a miss? Oh no, it was just out of reach. And by the looks of it, there's no combo. It's just Thunder and Sherbet 30,000. I don't think there's enough time, and I think South Korea will be taking this ever so closely. Oh my god.
Oh, good lord. My heart was not ready for that on map number 3.
Wow. As soon as the French team's coach, Subaru, has said something in the chat, both of the FCs for France dropped. And then this standoff with Allegrisimo and Musty. And at the very end of the map, Musty, he had everything in the palm of his hand. All he had to do was just to hold on for slightly longer. It was all there, but no breakpoint. No surprises here as South Korea takes the second point on the board now.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly dangerous for South Korea on that one. You had 2 massive combos from Thunder and Satsuki drop at the same time, which is just tragic for the French roster. That's all it was. All that was different between those 2 teams is that South Korea's breaks came much more steadily. It wasn't a double break. It wasn't a triple break. They were just individual breaks much further up the combo chain. And that is just bad, unfortunate timing for the French roster. But it's okay. It wasn't their pick. And every map, they're pushing a little bit closer, a little bit more towards breaking that South Korean map pick. But they need to secure their own map pick now. And still a lot of the board available to them. I definitely think they want to lean more into those mechanical maps. But whether they want to dip their toes into DT yet, I don't know if it's too early.
Yep, might be a little too early here, but a Nomad 2 pick coming in from France. I was just about to say that. First of all, the team is very mechanics favored, and also flow aim on that roster is really, really good, as can be seen by the qualifying results, if I recall correctly. But yeah, Wildest Dreams Dragon Force, a very relatively well-known map as well, has been pulled quite a bit in tournaments recently, but still, I feel like this is a really, really good pick from France. And imagine if France won that hidden one against South Korea, then this could have been a potentially pretty confident third point on the board, but still, South Korea can play this relatively well too. So not the end of the world, but France, they need this once more to equalize the score and to keep afloat in this matchup.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if it had been any other team in this bracket, you'd almost want to put it as a surefire thing, but the one team, officially 2 of the other teams that have got a better score than France in this round of 16 from qualifiers is the one that they are staring down right now. But regardless of that, it's a very mechanically heavy map. It's something that a lot of these French players are known for. They are very good on it, and I've got high hopes for them on this pick. Yep. I want this to stay nice and even, so, you know, probably a little bit of bias, but...
No, I can get that. Yeah, I can see that as well. I'd say this should be a pretty good pick for France. Probably one of the more favorable maps when it comes to the French roster as well. Probably an exception of something like DT3 and Fremont 2. Really good scouting there from the French roster. And now we will be slowly transitioning into this Nomad 2. The wildest dreams of France may come true if they win this, because they have been doing so good throughout this entire matchup so far, being relatively close in the middle sections of Hidden 2, taking the Nomad 1, and only being about 40,000 points away on the Hidden 1 that was South Korea's pick. And now, maybe some of your wildest dreams may become true, France. You just gotta lock in on this Nomad 2.
Yeah, and what's interesting with this Dragon Force, normally Dragon Force maps are known for being incredibly long, but they do have a couple of these sort of song covers that are much, much shorter. And this is one of those cases that is perfect for this sort of stage. And some adjustment difficulties from one of the French players, but accuracy-wise, it's still their point to lose.
Well, their point to lose in the combos as well. My keyboard with jab wide, and a few early misses earlier on, but still nothing too crazy so far. But now this might be a little crazy. My keyboard with a huge chain miss. A lot of 50s dropped as well. The accuracy and the combo drop. Jab wide on the trade here, but hit kill Satsuki against Chippori and Amamiya Kakuro. Still hit kill with a really good accuracy so far as well. Satsuki, the accuracy does favor the French roster quite a little bit, and the first PI is on the board right now. Looking really, really good as Jump Flight continues to hold on to the combo of the accuracy. My keyboard, the recovery is also helping the South Korean team quite a bit here, but still 1/3 off the map gone. And Hitkill will be the one to find the miss. The SS dropped.
Major South Korea here. They've been given a lifeline. Chippori and Amamiya Kokoro looking to hold the line. And Chap White still on. Great recovery thus far. Halfway through the map. This is the critical point of the map, and it catches out Chap White. That is not good for France. But Amamiya Kokoro are going to be trading things up, but they've still got good combo support and full combo regardless. They're still trying to bring things up for France, but that score margin's gonna move there against them very, very soon.
Not gonna run too far yet. That recovery, my keyboard is relative to hit kill, sort of. There's about 400 score combo deficit for the side of France here, but still, it might as well change with 1/4 of the map still left. 100,000 difference, still very much doable for the French roster to try and come back from this. Chippori still continues to hold on to the FCD. Accuracy is significantly lower in comparison to Satsuki, who's hovering about that 99% accuracy, but still a solo section, not catching anyone off guard. Never mind though, my keyboard with the miss, jump fight as well, but it's not the combo that matters. My keyboard, the recovery for South Korea gun, the last PI still there. Satsuki and Hitkill don't need to hold to keep the French dreams alive here. Still, it goes on towards the right, 70,000 score difference, shifting more and more with every second as we speak. Chippori, the one to try and contest, but the time is time there, 50,000. It goes towards the right though. Jump by yet another chain miss, exacerbating this situation, not helping the French team. But my keyboard, Chippori! Did enough at the very end, 15,000. It goes to the French team.
Never in my wildest dreams was I expecting this match to go as closely as it has, but what a result. Both of the previous maps going literally within hairlines of each other in the score difference, but that is an incredible full combo from Setsuki right at the critical point. Just able to brute force a solid score and keeps the score margin 2-2.
You gotta feel for Chippori as well. Chippori was so close to that FC, only missing towards the very end, and that was basically the point where France took the advantage over everybody. Every crucial combo for South Korea missed right at the worst moment ever, and France took the point here. The score now equalized 2-2, and it's gonna be South Korea's turn to pick. What do you think is gonna be the pick here, Damarsh?
Well, I do think that their hidden one was much closer than even they'd anticipated. Hard Rock 1 kind of follows that same trajectory. They're both very similar seeded. There is nothing in between them. So I think we can probably rule that one out unless they're really limited for picks. This is much more of a comfort pick, I think, for South Korea. This free mod one lets them pick their best hidden, their best Hard Rock players, and kind of run free on this one. So a good pick, I think, to kind of test the French roster.
Yep, 150 BPM, a little bit ulti with some aim control elements as well, but then easy multiplier as well. Do remember that easy is allowed on the free mods, and the easy multiplier for this particular free mod is 2.2. So if anything, then I guess we might even see a few players picking out easy on this. It's not going to be as trivial and as easy as it could be on free mod 3, for example, which is a grid map. But that being said, I'd be really excited to see that modification in this particular matchup, but the lobby remains pretty much empty as the players will be deciding upon their lineups for this particular map. Kirasami Magic, some Toho representation. The map by Miller does map a lot off that particular genre of music. Usually it's specializing on precision mapping. This time around, though, it's going to be a lot different. This is not just precision, at least in this tournament scene, by the way. But this is not really his main skill set that he maps. But that being said, Kirasami Magic is going to be upon us, and I feel like this could be a pretty good pick for South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of expecting Allegrissimo maybe to kind of lean into that hard rock for South Korea. Definitely seems to be the more stronger player, especially in qualifiers. But it's also a very good hidden player, so kind of comes down to a comfort really for them. I imagine Amamiya Kokoro might pick up the alternative. Although you do have Sherbet as well, the rookie for this roster could also pick up that mod, leaving Amamiya Kokoro on that no mod. A lot of potential here, but I'm interested to see how they play. A lot of well-known sort of hidden players coming in for the French roster here. It's very much like their hidden lineup.
Yeah, interesting choice here. They might want to... I mean, looking at Sherbet, I think there's a possibility, there's a world where they might even go easy on this, but I'd imagine they do not want to risk it, and that is exactly what they are doing. Sherbet with the hidden modification, Satsuki being the no mod anchor, as Musty and Thunder go with the hard rock and hidden modifications respectively. Kirasami Magic is about to start in France. So far, they've been putting a pretty magical performance in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's all to play for. I don't think there's a lot in it between these two teams either anymore. But it's all about the execution, map to map. And so far, it's just been an incredibly close contest. So it all comes down to that first break. Just needs to be more the French roster to find the early miss and then kind of try and recover later on. But so far, nothing to report. Everyone is really solid here.
The really solid is an understatement. South Korea so far with triple double S still here. As soon as I say that, obviously Sherbet and Allegrissimo will drop their respective assesses, but still a really good showing on the accuracy department here for South Korea. Same could be said about France though. Musty dropping a few hundreds here and there, but nothing too major yet. No misses so far. The map is also really long as we are just about to enter the first PI, and here comes the aim control alt sections. So far no misses to be found, but it's still very close, especially the accuracy. 10,000 difference favoring South Korea only a little bit, but oh no, Satsuki finds a miss though.
And Satsuki, Musty was looking a little shaky on those as well, hitting a lot of 100s, but manages to pull through the combo. Bit of a lifeline there needed for France. Needs to hold on to this. The no mod dropping as well, as you know, like in free mod situation is disastrous for your team.
Pretty much. And the anchor for South Korea is still holding Sherbet. Everybody is holding so well for South Korea, especially the accuracy of both Amamiya Kokoro and Sherbet is just exceptional so far. 100,000 difference going ever so larger with every second that is passing by as those combos continue to hold Satsuki. So far being the only one to drop in this entire map, and the map is very long. It's just about 4 minutes short. Musty, the second one to find a miss, also on the French roster as well, as the South Koreans continue to run away with this. 3 FCs are still holding. Amamiya Kokoro, Sherbet, and Allegrissimo putting on a masterclass so far on this 3-on-1. Thunder also down. No FCs for France. All of them are now gone in South Korea. The triple FC is still holding, and it's still holding strong, especially with those accuracies.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do at this point. You got 1,200 combo for every player on the South Korean roster. It's already a 500k score difference, and at the rate it's going, That's going to hit 1 million very, very shortly, because that is just a one-sided affair, and everyone knows it.
Yep. Looks like players are surprised a little. Satsuki apologizing a little frustrated with his performance, but not really that huge of an issue here. But still, just about 15% off the map left, with the Triple FC still holding. Sherbet held on to that 99.9% accuracy for a long while, dropping a few hundreds here and there, but look at the accuracies on the South Korean side. 99.8% accuracy for Hidden on this is just insane. One final KI to finish it off, and the question that is lingering on our mind, can the South Korean roster finish up this Fremont 1 with a Triple FC of their own? And so far, they're doing just that. No misses to be found. Finally, the first one to break is going to be the Nomad, Amamiya Kakuro with the miss, but Sherbet and Allegrissimo, the modification, the mods, the Hard Rock, and the Hidden to fuse together to pop off completely on this Fremont 1. 1.2 million score difference to end off this map, as Sherbet and Allegrissimo will be finishing off this map with a bang.
That is a masterclass on consistency right there. Look at that from Sherbet. 3 100s is nasty. Technically, for Amamiya Kokoro, it was almost an even better accuracy until that slider break came in. But damn, that is a statement right there. Even from Allegrissimo on the Hard Rock, that is insane. Do not take this man out of any roster. Keep putting Allegrissimo in.
Put Allegrissimo back in. Yeah, exactly. That's just an insane team score. 3.03 million team score in a free versus free setting is just insane. Wow, it's been a while since we've seen those crazy pop-off performances, and who else other than South Korea, the defending champions, to be fair. But yes, now it is time for France to go on with their own pick now. That Fremont 1 was definitely a nightmare in contrast to the wildest dreams that they've had in Nomad 2. Still, you gotta hope, you gotta look for those mechanics maps, and the mechanics are still open. You still have that DPT3, you still have that Fremont 2 potentials that you might want to go for. But after those, there are a lot of question marks in regards to the potential picks that France might have. But so far, I guess you should probably go for, I'd say DT3 is probably a more safe option. What do you think, Damarsh?
It's really tough at this point because a lot of these picks have been highly contested. Let's rule out what we know that they're not going to go for. They're not probably going to go into the DT1. I think Fremod 2 is a safe pick, but I think they kind of want to save that towards the tail end of the match. This DT3, I don't know. Like, it works, but the scores from qualifiers are not... They don't support the hypothesis, if that makes sense.
I get it, yeah. I mean,
they don't line up quite right.
But yeah, I can kind of get that. This DTF, first of all, custom by Mancho W. Sorry for a potential mispronunciation, but thank you very much for your contribution to the map pool. The map is 270 BPM. Very much focused on that mechanics, very much focused on that particular skill set, and I feel like if you look at this map, then maybe a potential parallel that you might bring out is a DT1 from qualifiers. The DT1 for qualifiers was relatively similar. DT1 was more of a hybrid map, though, with a BPM of 263 and also being a lot more difficult in comparison than this map, but still, the core is going to be the map that's going to be played at ER 10.1, and a very short map as well, 1 minute and 49 seconds long, so every single miss is going to matter in this case. And honestly, I feel like France probably, hopefully, should be doing good on this.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the potential to kind of run away with this, but the South Korean roster, they're really starting to settle into this matchup nicely. That previous map is going to give him a lot of confidence kind of going into this one. But the momentum definitely now firmly in their court. France have just got to just keep pushing back. Every opportunity they get, every break that presents itself from the South Korean roster, take advantage of it and just keep pushing. Because eventually, you know, with enough pressure, this South Korean roster might just drop a point before the tiebreaker. And I think that's, at this stage, France's best opportunity to kind of take a victory here.
Yep, definitely. So far, France has been pushing the machine of South Korea every single time, except for that pre-mod one. But by the looks of it, Satsuki's going to be the first one to find the miss on this double time 3. Dropping a lot of accuracy in the process as well, but Hipko and Japquite looking pretty good in comparison. Still, my keyboard, Amame Kokoro and Shipori with the FCs. My keyboard being the specialist for this particular skill set, but so far looking pretty good here. Satsuki on the recovery, trying to get back onto his 2 feet as the first guy is on the board. First guy was on the board for a little bit. Japquite and Satsuki both finding their respective misses. Japquite also still, the accuracy might be looking good, but Satsuki, the accuracy is 92% in comparison to the average in the lobby that is about 95-96%. I'm going to call on my keyboard though, finding their misses though, and Hipkill still with an FC. 1/3 of the map left, and the recoveries from the French team will be slowly shifting the map towards the right though. Chipori, the only one to hold, the only cornerstone to try and save South Korea from this TT3, but still, as long as Hipkill and the recoveries hold, this might be doable. Shifting towards the right, 80,000. Still, the time is there. Chipori, he needs to hold. He needs to try his best and hope for some misses from the side of France. Not there yet. 40,000. It's going to be very, very close. Will it shift towards the end though? Every single 100 is going to count as well. 15,000. It might flip. It's flipping. Hipkill still with the FC 15. He needs to hold. No. Oh my god. It looks like France did it again. How many times are you going to do it?
Unbelievable. You know when you say something, like, they just need to keep doing this, and eventually it's going to work. And then they do it, and they actually follow through. It's quite mesmerizing to watch, but it doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah.
How have they done that? I saw them all break, and I was like, oh, this is over. And then they win the map anyway. It doesn't make any sense. God.
They were in the
friends, I guess.
Yeah, they were in a huge score deficit there. I think it was like about 300k or something. France came back from that, and it's now equalized once again, 3-3. France, they've been doing that again and again and again. They did that on the Mod 2. They did this on GT3. They almost pulled it off on this hidden one as well. They cannot give South Korea a break. Every single point that they're giving is just such a nail biter. And what that is going to be South Korea's pick, and I mean, probably no Mod 4. If not, then HR1.
Hey, HR1's really close. I don't know whether they want to go into that. Yeah, this is definitely what they should go into. 100% no Mod 4. This is a much better pick for them. Qualifier-wise, roster-wise, you know, you got Amamiya. I imagine Ligrissimo going into this as well. Yeah. This is the pick.
Yep, this is definitely the pick. And pretty classic when it comes to no Mod 4s as well. Azrael has been cementing his name in the tournament community for a while now, for a pretty long while in general. Like, I think it's been like 2 years, and I feel like Azrael and HGX maps have been getting pulled as no Mod 4s very, very often, and this map is no exception. Graviton has been used quite a lot in tournaments as well, and I'd imagine a lot of players are familiar with this map in particular. But that being said, the map is probably one of the more difficult maps in this pool. And I feel like, if anything, difficulty might be favoring South Korea a little more. especially considering that South Korea as a region has historically been known for being good at this types of skill sets. So I'd imagine that South Korea should be looking really confident here. But what do you think, Damarsh?
Well, I mean, you can kind of pin what France are doing down to sort of standout performances, if you like. It's not always the same player. It's been alternating quite a bit. You know, it was Satsuki on Nomad 2. It was Hifkill just now on the DT2. You know, they've got these sort of players that are hitting out these amazing performances on maps. And the only way South Korea have been outpowering them is by overall better team consistency. But if that's not there on this Nomad 4, France are dangerous enough to flip this pick. But it needs to happen. They need to have that standout sort of FC, and then South Korea need to just not have any full combos going into the end of the map, because I think they are the stronger team, especially going into this Nomad 4.
Yep, for sure. Still very much best of 5 between these two teams. Every single point, every single map is of tremendous value for both of these teams, and now the players are slowly joining into the lobby. Hologram, Sherbet, and Petit. South Korea, no, I'm gonna be a Kokoro, surprisingly enough. As you can see, Satsuki, Musty, and Thunder on the side of France. An appearance once again from Petit. I don't think they have been present in the previous maps, but I guess it is time to show what you're made of and to give your point that ever so needed 4th point.
And so here we go. Map number 7 in this matchup. Over the halfway threshold now. And yeah, this, I always think tech maps are incredibly tricky, but this one is very much what you'd expect from a tech map. You've got high slider velocities, you've got a lot of slider tracking, you've got some ticks mixed in there as well that you need to make sure you snap to. There's a lot to kind of take in with this map, but the first break coming in from Thunder there kind of flips the balance to what we already know, and Musty with another break reinforces that theory.
Not the greatest start from France, but a miss from Sherbet will give a little more breathing room to the French side. Satsuki still with an FC, Hologram, and Petit to hold on the South Korean side. 1/3 of the map gone. The map is very, very short, so we're breezing through this so far. 80,000 score difference. Satsuki still on the FC, and Hologram and Petit still ever so cold with those combos. Petit as well. The first appearance on this match, and the accuracy just looking so good for this player. Still 1/3 of the map, a little more of a flow-oriented section here. Not catching anyone so far. Thunder and Musty on the recovery. But Satsuki, though, the FC for the France gone now. 2 FCs for South Korea, still holding. 1/4 of the map still remaining. Petit finds a miss, but Hologram once again put him back in. No, don't put him back in. He finds a miss as well. Still 1/4 of the map. 100,000 difference, and the 2 now no recoveries. Thunder, the only recovery is now going to be Musty, matched by Sherbet.
God, this is going to be such a crazy ending for Musty. Has the biggest combo, but Sherbet's there to kind of isolate it and not allow the score margin to be pulled back. Will pull back some of it, but needs a break from Sherbet to flip this, and it's not going to happen. South Korea going to hold on to this point despite those late stage breaks. Very well done from them, but it was a map that, especially myself, predicted for them to do very well on, and that is tragic for Hologram. So
Indeed.
tragic.
Still an S rank, still a really solid score, and Sherbet as well with a 700,000 score. The highest score in the lobby, though, was going to be Musty, just slightly above that of Sherbet, finding a few misses, unfortunate misses in the beginning of the map, and managing to hold through the rest, hitting the hardest parts of the map as well. And I'd imagine if they held on through that intro, through those earlier sections, then this could have been a whole different story once more. But still, South Korea back in the lead, 4-3. and France to pick. And now, I guess there's not a lot of options left. You have that Fremont 2. We've been talking about that map for a while now, and if anything, you can maybe go for something like HR1 or DT1, but given how important this point is, you probably should not beat the bush and pick Fremont 2.
Yeah, I think considering what's left, Fremont 2 is definitely where they're going to want to start. I see some potential for Nomad 3 to come in maybe from them as well. That sort of rhythmic kind of finger control-y, or DT1. I think those are the 3 picks definitely left open for France. I think South Korea, they're going to either have to rely on the sort of grid mapping of Fremont 3, the Hard Rock 1 for their last pick, or maybe they also go into the Nomad 3. We're potentially playing so much of the pool here, it's really hard to kind of predict which team favors what map at this sort of late stage, but for me, I think for France, it's the... Okay. Let's unpackage this, shall we?
Yeah. I feel like we definitely need to unpackage this. Fremont 3, mapped by BO, Finnish mapper, very, very well known for mapping grid and sort of like old stylish map with a modern take. An anti-mod as well, CS5 AR8 with a 2 minutes and 18 seconds long as well. So a very interesting pick here, but I feel like the main idea behind this pick is probably connected with the easy multipliers. The easy multiplier on this is 1.75, which with a potential easy FC, easy SS, so 500k multiplied by 175 is going to be like about 850k. In this case, I feel like easy will be quite as funny as it may sound, easy for a few players, and maybe that is the strategy that France will be going for. An interesting pick, but I want to hear your thoughts on this one, Damarsh.
Yeah, I mean, playing the world's hardest maps, brother, is an interesting choice for both teams. They're definitely taking their time to kind of adjust to this map and get used to it. I imagine there is a world where we see one of these players take the sort of easy mod on here, just because the potential on 175 is just massive. But whether they kind of go for it is sort of up in the air a little bit, because at this late stage you do not want to be experimenting this late into the match, sorry. But if it's going to happen from anyone, I'd probably lean more into the South Korean roster, maybe going for it over the French roster, just because of the score line and the situation that they're in.
Exactly. Very bold pick, but you know, sometimes modern problems require modern solutions, and in this case, Fremont 3 is one of them. The players slowly joining into the lobby now. I'm Amir Cockrell, Gristle and Sure, but on the side of South Korea, Thunder, Hetkill and Lunk, Noir on the side of France. Once again, a pretty short map, so every single miss is going to count. And the question is, will we be seeing those easy modifications on this? I'd imagine probably yes. I would not be surprised to see either Sherbet or Amamiya Cockrell with an easy, and Thunder with an easy as well, but it all depends on personal preference. You don't really know, you can't really predict that, because sometimes you might want to go easy, sometimes you might want to go hidden, but I guess we will see. The good luck of funds are now in the chat, and we're going to be transitioning to Dona. We are going to enjoy some McDonald's burgers with this.
Oh, it reminds me so much of a simpler time. No additional modifiers on either team.
Put no fail on, I think, or is he with no fail?
What's going on with the mods there? That must be an error, right?
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
that changes things. That changes things quite a bit. Right, let's unpack this one, shall we?
Yeah,
More
needs
to
a lot of
unpack.
unpacking. Overmod from the side of France. 2 Hard Rocks, Hip Kill and Blanc Noir on the Hard Rocks, and easy for Thunder. I'm not really sure whether the easy multiplier is integrated into the client. I think it is. Actually, I don't think it is.
I think if
Still.
it'll be on the overlay more than on the actual scores themselves.
Indeed, but so far a few trades here. Thunder and Allegrissimo finding their respective misses. Blanc Noir with a slight recovery. The combo advantage is on the side of South Korea as it continues to grow as well. Still half of the map left. And yeah, easy multiplier is integrated in. So far, South Korea has a pretty significant lead over the French team. 190,000, still going more and more towards the left as those combos continues to hold on. Hip Kill and Blanc Noir both at C's. Both combos that matter are gone for the French side, and now it's basically the consumption of burgers here. I'm a Kako and sure, but wrapping the French into the McDonald's packaging and about to order some takeout.
Yeah, I think the jury's still out on whether you consider McDonald's a true takeout. It's but anyway, Amamiya Kokoro absolutely ripping this map apart. Good recovery from Thunder, but needed that full combo really to kind of contest this one to any degree. But the breaks again for the French side just coming in at the exact time. I didn't realize that ending note was in there. Yeah, they just had that unfortunate double break timing again, which just hurts them so bad because it's just happened at the wrong time. But now their backs are against the wall. They finally drop a map pick on their 4th go round, and it's South Korea to pick.
The first breakpoint in this match, and South Korea's turn to pick. Still a lot of options once more, but now with the map pool being relatively exhausted, it's not as easy as it might look like. Looking at the overall maps that are left, I'd imagine, first of all, that Fremont probably would have been a South Korea's pick after the French one. Looks like they decided to swap that one out, but yeah, not a lot of options are available. You have Nomad 3, which could be good for South Korea. You have HR1 also there. If you are South Korea, you probably would not want to pick Fremont 2 100%, and preferably avoid DT1. I would say, so if anything, I'm more sympathetic towards either Nomad 3 or HR1.
Yeah, it's kind of anyone's game here. I think Fremont 2 is going to be left alone. I think we're looking at maybe a Nomad 3 from South Korea. Everything's a question mark at this point because it's what are they going to feel most confident on? I don't think either team's DT scores are necessarily super standout performance. If anything, if anything, the DT one was less of an option. This is much more what South Korea is known for, I would say.
Man, the Dutch team name collab for RO16 makes my brain rot a little, because, you know, remember, like, John Zenith, John Efkin, John, all of that, all TTG maps. This one being one of them. This one is Iljuz's guest difficulty in that sense, in that context, but still very much a KT map. AR 9.2, so a little dense when it comes to note density. OD9 as well, and BPM of 126 with slight elements of rhythm control as well as alternate. On paper, this should favor South Korea, but on the other hand, France, as you mentioned prior, can still play this relatively well. So this is a pretty interesting pick, but I feel like out of all the options that South Korea had, this is probably the best one.
Yeah, I think looking at sort of this No Mod 3 before this matchup, it's sort of it's unique in the sense that it doesn't have a lot of it's aim control, but it's not large spacing aim control. It's very much, like you said, dense, quite populated, with sort of rhythmic bursts kind of thrown into it. You know, the rhythm of this map is not very standard. There's a lot of changing rhythms, and when you combine that even with basic bursts, you know, your doubles, triples, your 4-note stacks, it's not super on paper super complicated tapping wise, but it becomes very complicated because of all the density, and you mix that with the aim control. It's the volatility of this map cannot be understated. So we might see a lot of sort of chain breaks here and there from both sides. So this is not a guaranteed South Korea pick by any means, but it is a very strong pick for them, no doubt.
Yep, a very strong pick. Quite a shaky one still, though, as well. So it's a bit of a toss-up here, but on paper, both of us agree that South Korea should be the one favored on this pick, as France will be still in the deficit. South Korea only need one map to finish this match right here and right now. And by the looks of it, with us finally loading into the map, as the tug of war sets in, by the looks of it, South Korea has a slight advantage. Not really. The combos are there. A few early misses from both Pettit and the hit kill, but nothing too out of the ordinary, not the end of the world, as France holds to a slight accuracy advantage earlier on.
Yeah, again, you can see not massive spacing between a lot of these, but enough that requires a lot of snapping elements. It's a very unique map. And like you said, it's sort of a KTG that meets a very snappy style of mapping, but still has those bursty elements that really test player ability. And at the moment, it's kind of struggling accuracy-wise, but there's also struggle on the side of France. Kill Musty really struggling, but the first break does come in just at the halfway point as well. Disaster for South Korea with that break from Sherbet. That's really going to hurt into this little bit of free combo section. But the KI time is here.
Time is here. Still, 3FC is holding on for France. The advantage is growing ever so higher with every second. The combos are there. Satsuki, Musty, and hit kill. It's do or die situation here. South Korea still being 1 point away. You gotta lock in finally a break time here, and the players understand the reality of their situation. Allegrisso and Pettit to try and contest the Three Musketeers of France, but so far so good for both of these teams. Sure, but that miss will hurt them tremendously, and it's still hurting them to this day. The map is basically almost over, and unless the French decide to collectively chain miss altogether, then I don't see a single chance for South Korea to try and come back into this 200,000 score difference, rolling with the map basically at its conclusion, as Hit Kill, Musty, and Satsuki will be the one to lock this map in with an FC and 2 reverse chokes. France are still not out.
Why didn't they pick this?
Real.
That's what I don't understand. What a team score. But why didn't they pick it? I think even without that break, I still think they took that map. That's a ridiculous team score on that No Mod 3. Well done, first of all. But now you've got to pick another map. And if it's not free mod 2, I'm gonna have several questions with your team afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like we both agree here. Several questions will be raised if it's not free mod 2. Yeah, not a lot of options left. I mean, maybe you can consider DT1. Maybe it's still up for grabs, but I feel like something that I'm more sympathetic towards is free mod 2. Once again, does play into the strength of the French mechanics. DT1 being a map which is mainly aim focused, 255 ppm, being made back in 2015, so a little bit of an older style map, if that makes sense. But out of all these three options, It'll be quite interesting to see what France will go for. I mean, they should go for Fremont too, but if they go for DT1 and Nature 1, hopefully they will at least go for DT1 and they're going for DT1. Okay.
Okay, bro. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes. Is, but he's missed the map. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, he's not back in, I guess. That said, still a 5-4. Once again, a do or die situation for France to try and force tiebreaker in this particular matchup. And a tiebreaker would be huge. This would be already France has been showing a tremendously good performance throughout this entire matchup, being ever so close on that hidden one as well. And imagine if they took that hidden one, then that would have been so cinema. But still, DT1 starts off with a slight accuracy advantage to the side of South Korea. France, a few issues here in the department of accuracy for hit kill, but nothing too major so far. And it looks like both teams are looking very confident on this map.
Yep, then that worries me greatly. I mean, I guess both, like every other map, was arguably a coin flip at this stage, but the fact that everyone is still holding nearly 99% accuracy and full combos leaves me slightly worried that we're gonna have a 1 break and 7 FC situation on our hands, but I'll leave that out.
I mean, yeah, can't really have 7 FCs on a free setting, but that being said, still, the accuracies are very, very close. Still half off the map left, and the scoreline is shifting left, right, and center. The equilibrium fully shattered. Does favor France a little bit as Hipkill tries to find the recovery when it comes to this map, but still, it all will depend on the combo, I would imagine. And the first one to break is going to be my keyboard. The opportunity for France to try and take this map. Also in the middle of the map as well. This is going to hurt them tremendously when it comes to the overall score cap. We love score V2 in that case, but still, 3 FCs for France are holding. Allow me Cockroach to drop as well, and I feel like, ladies and gentlemen, we might be moving to tiebreaker.
This is seed 6 and 11, right?
Yes.
I'm not thinking that. Okay, right. So, Front's a 3-way FCing. Musty just broke into the break section as well. That was going to happen because Musty was SSing earlier. You never SS in a match. You just don't do it. But
Yep.
2 full combos from France here. Very well done. Never mind, it's 1. It's 1. I did that on purpose. Did you see that?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, nice FC there from Hifkill. 3.2 million team score. Japwhite also being very, very close to the FC as well as Musty. But that said, we are going to tiebreaker. And it is time. We are dreamers here. We've been talking about dreams of France on that Nomad 2. The wildest dreams of France may come true. And you know what? It is more than doable with this tiebreaker, Damarsh.
I can't believe we ended up at horse anime. Okay, right.
This is so amazing. This match is so amazing.
Oh, you said it. Oh, you know what you've done. Oh, terrible. Terrible. Absolutely. Anyway, this is probably the nicest tiebreaker you'll see, to be honest. I think it's quite balanced in terms of both teams having good rosters for it. It's going to play a little bit like the sort of Nomad 1 that we saw. It's just an overall quite good map. You've got to watch out for the 205 BPM. That's going to cause you some issues, but there aren't mega death streams or anything like that in this map. Hot take, that'd be really funny to see on a map like this, but yeah, nothing like that in here on this one. But it's going to come down to those individual performers again. You know, players like Musty, Amamiya Kokoro, the sort of anchors, if you like, of these sort of rosters and these teams really looking to do standout stuff on this sort of map. But yeah, it might come down to an individual FC on this one, maybe.
Yep, might as well. I mean, you gotta show an amazing performance on this map to take that victory. Still a 5-5. I mean, I gotta pander. But yeah, that said, the players are slowly joining back into the lobby. Amamiya Kokoro, Shipori, and Allegrissimo for the side of South Korea. Hifkill, Sasuke, and probably Musty, I'd imagine, for the side of France, if not maybe Japwhite. Yeah, Japwhite is the one to finish out the French roster, and it is time, I guess. Musty close to invite. Oh, so it is Musty. Okay.
So it comes down to a single map. If you want to think about it another way, this whole match was almost a waste of time.
No, this whole match was amazing.
Oh, oh, he's done it 3 times.
Yeah, and I'll keep doing it.
Send him to the Shadow Realm. Let's get this over with. 5 minutes for the length on this one. Quite generous. I'm not saying it. I'm not. You cannot make me.
Come on. You got to do that.
If we see an FC, I'll say it. That's it.
All right, bet. Let's
if we
go.
Get an FC, I will say it. I will say the thing. That's the challenge. Because it won't happen. It ain't gonna happen. I'm safe.
You gotta hope. You gotta hope. But yeah, still, the map, obviously, in the good old tiebreaker fashion, is gonna be relatively long. The 1-2 jumps, the overall aim requirements are there. France did win Nomad 1 against South Korea. South Korea won Hidden 1 against France. So definitely a very contested pick when it comes to the skill set. That said, still a slight advantage towards the French roster here in the intro when it comes to the accuracy. No misses so far, but I would imagine we'd see plenty of those throughout this entire map.
Yeah, and both teams off to a pretty solid start. Got one player on each side who's kind of struggling on the accuracy side, but apart from adjustment issues, nothing really to report. Amamiya Kokoro on 96% accuracy. Must have been on the
and Shipori as well.
Yeah, like those space streams, you do have to be careful of them. They're not super lengthy, but they have got a bit of flow to them. On the tails of them. But everyone's still holding nice and strong.
So strong.
I'm slightly worried now. I'm going to have to say it a few times, but you know, there's time. There's time.
This
Still 3
time,
minutes left.
the first miss though coming in from Hifkill, the one to break the silence. 2 FCs versus 3. Still, the accuracy on the South Korean side, especially from the side of Amamiya, Kakaro, and Chippori, is relatively lower than that of the remaining 3 players on France. The remaining 2 players for the combos as well, Satsuki and Musty, with really good accuracies, but still, it's a 3 versus 2. The accuracies will matter a lot. And France, if you're rooting for them, you gotta hope for the misses on the South Korean side, but so far, no misses here, as we are still going through those slow sections, slowly transitioning into more of a build-up. But still, 22,000 score difference, favoring South Korea as it continues to go on to the left. We need more misses if you're rooting for France. If not, then South Korea might be running away with this. Stream, nobody finds a miss on the Space Stream and the second KI now back here again. 50,000, no misses. Once more, Hifkill being the only one who has ever missed on this entire map so far. I feel like Damarsh is shaking and sweating for now, but the combos, the FCs are still there. Triple FC versus a double FC still there. 80,000 score difference.
This is ridiculous for a tiebreaker. The fact we're running with 5 FCs at this point is just nuts. We need to lose some of these, please.
No, we don't. No, we don't. But maybe one.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, one break would actually flip this crazy if it comes from the South Korean side, because Hifkill is really rallying up with that supporting combo right now. And there is Aligrissimo. Finds the drop. We are down to 2 for South Korea. Quarter of the map left. And that is a 1k combo from Hifkill. There is still time.
There is still time. One final KI to end it all. The combos are there. The difference is shifting more towards the right. Chippori as well with the miss. It's Musty and Satsuki against Amamiya Kakaro. Musty finds a break though, but still 1 FC on the side of South Korea and still 1 on the side of France with Hifkill with a huge recovery. It will go towards the right though as we speak right now. France, they might go with an upset. Satsuki finds a miss though. Wait a minute. Amamiya Kakaro, the only FC to try and save the South Korean dreams here. It's all been about the dreams, but finds a miss as well. No amazings here, but Hifkill with the recovery. This guy has been there for so many maps, and looks like if he continues to hold on, he will be the sole difference maker for this tiebreaker, pulling out an upset. France beating South Korea in 3-digit World Cup 2026. Have you ever seen that? And I feel like Hifkill has a word to say for this, as France will be getting the victory against South Korea.
What an amazing match. And I ain't gotta say it. Thank God. That is a great score from both teams. What a game. Respect to both rosters. That went all the way and was such enjoyable action to watch. Standout performances from both teams. But it was the supporting combo that made all the difference.
Yeah. All the FCs for so long as well. That was such a fantastic match to watch. And with that, France will be beating out South Korea. What a match. A lot of doubts have been around this French roster. A lot of doubts have been around the French roster for years and years. And finally, the expectations, all of those thoughts, everything, finally, the stars aligning as France will be taking down the defending champion, by the way, South Korea, dropping to the losers bracket, and France will be the ones who will drop them down from their throne.
Unbelievable stuff from the French roster. Seed number 11 knocking down seed number 6 in the first round. That is the volatility of the round of 16 for you. Is low
star-rated polls can cause chaos. And it is what we have seen here today. So good luck to France in the quarterfinals winners stage, but South Korea still got a chance to have an incredible losers bracket run. They will reassess and refocus next week, as will France. But we've still got a couple of games lined up for you for the round of 16 stage. Who is up next, I wonder?
Well, that is a good question. We need to check that, but so far this has been an honor to cast. Once again, congratulations to France, and once again, such a good match to cast in general. But with that match now over, we have a Chile versus Indonesia match coming in shortly after this, so make sure to be there, as now it was Damarsh and Leiden with you for this amazing, I would even say amazing South Korea versus France match. And we will be saying our goodbyes.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to cast alongside you, Lightning, and stay tuned for more amazing matches here at the 3-Digit World Cup.
Yep, see you next time.